Om Shanti, a very good evening to everyone, and welcome to the Brahma Kumari's regular Friday talk hosted by Brahma Kumari's Leicester and Brahma Kumari's Harrow Center. And today's topic is mood over matter. And today we're delighted to welcome Brother Shantanu from Gyan Sarovar, Madhuban. He's had a wonderful time in Leicester, and his presence has really illuminated the whole atmosphere at Harmony House in Leicester. And yesterday he conducted a very wonderful class and a workshop with the youth. And a little bit of background by Shantanu Bhai. By the way, happy birthday. It's your birthday today. So he was keeping this quiet.
Thank you so much, Pravjit Bhai. I wasn't expecting this surprise.
So it's always nice to wish people happy birthday. And Shantanu Bhai has been practicing Raj Yoga since the year 2000. And for the last 9 years, he's been a sort of surrendered soul who's dedicated his life in promoting Raj Yoga across the world. And he's played a wonderful role in COP26. He came over for this special gathering in Glasgow and is a very important part of the environment issue. And he really took that theme up in 2015 when he became a vegan. So it's really nice that you've taken this course and you definitely practice what you preach. So welcome, Shantanu Bhai. And if you have any questions for Shantanu Bhai, please post on chat and we will have an opportunity towards the end to take this up. Okay. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Paramjit Bhai, and thanks for the beautiful wishes. They were surprising, and I don't know why it occurred to me that I should keep it very low and not talk about my birthday, but somehow there is something which is very genuinely very beautiful about surprises. Even if you know it is going to happen, but if it is a surprise, it makes you feel somehow more light and enjoying that same situation if it's a surprise. You know that you are going to your friend's house and they would cook some very beautiful food for you. You probably also know that this friend of yours knows what you like to eat and that person is going to make it for you. There is a kind of feeling that you know about it, but then when you see that particular food item, you're like, oh, wow, you cooked this. So that surprise is a feeling that I can't express, and that is what I experience right now. Thank you so much. And that feeling, again, coming back to the surprising feeling, is something which I would say is a part of our topic today. It's mood over matter. So when I say mood and over and matter, there are 3 words in the topic. The first one is mood, to know what mood is. Then the second word is matter, and to see which one is over which one and how to position them in a way that makes understanding clear enough for me to help me move forward in my life. So I typically go by literal meaning, the word mood means a state of mind, a state of feelings that I am carrying in my mind for quite a good amount of time. And it could be a state of feelings, it could be a state of emotions, it could be a state of thoughts. Now, all these are 3 very different words, but they together can be, it could be a mixed state of thoughts, feelings, and emotions that create the mood. In context of merchandising or visual merchandising, you'll say setting up a mood, which means you create a space, you create certain things around the space, within the space, that propels the mind into a zone of experience. And that is, again, setting up a mood, which means you are helping the mind to get into a zone. I would say when we are talking about some intangible aspects, creating an intangible aspect, which I am able to experience and shaping my tangible reality. It is something of deep understanding. Thoughts intangible, but we can feel them. Feelings intangible, we are creating them. Emotions again intangible, we are again experiencing them. And when we live in a certain kind of fixated thinking pattern or pattern to feel or experience, we are creating a little box around us, and that box is mood box. Now that box can be sometimes very good, sometimes not so good, sometimes very, very stressful, distasteful. So if I am carrying in my mind thoughts which are elevated, which are powerful, which are pure, which are nourishing me, then I would have a mood which is quite good. We do generally come across this terminology or phrase in our everyday life. We say, today he is in a good mood. What does this word mean? In a good mood, which means he is inside a good mood. He is inside a box that he has created with good positive thoughts, with good positive feelings, and that's why he is in that mood. So basically, mood is an atmosphere that the Atman, the soul, creates around it. And that atmosphere sometimes is so strong that it leaves the boundaries of just me and reaches to you. And you could say, oh, I felt like today his mood was a little off, which means what? So the mood is that atmosphere which is not just staying with me, but coming across wherever I am going and also starts leaving an impression on others. So my mood starts to leave an impression on others, and it can trigger things that might change their mood. It might trigger feelings that might again shift their way of thinking. It might shift many things in our relationships as well. So basically, mood is kind of a living atmosphere of my living room. So if I have a very healthy atmosphere in which I'm living, nothing to worry. But if there is something in which I'm living continuously and I do not realize that it is unhealthy, that's the way, problem area where we have to really put our attention. And how do I figure it out? Sometimes I don't have to do anything. People would come and say, what happened to you? Doesn't seem your mood is good today. And sometimes it is, if I am understanding who I am, how I feel, what I do, if I know myself very well, I would understand the atmosphere that I'm living in, whether it's a very friendly one, a very healthy one, or not. And that depends on how closely I know myself, how properly I know myself. And if I have to share one example, it's a very interesting example because generally science doesn't have any information on these things, but these are very interesting examples to understand how powerful could be our state of mind, the atmosphere in which the Atman is living. There was a group of pianists who could play piano, and there was a group of amateurists who were learning to play piano. So this scientist in the Harvard's Medical School, they brought these two groups of pianists to come together and gave them one single piece of music to practice. So both of them were given the same time, same atmosphere, same amount of duration to practice the same piece of music in pianos. And after they have finished doing their piano lessons, they would be invited to go and sit under a coil that they have designed that could trace brain patterns. So when they are playing, just after playing piano, which part of their brain is illuminated or more active, what changes are happening inside the brain. They could see that. So after 1 week of study, they found it's quite more or less similar for all of them. And then on the second week, they did a little difference. So in the second week, they just asked the first set of pianists to just go and play the music on the keyboard, on the piano itself. And to the second set of pianists, they said, you do not have a piano to play. You just remember your finger positions when you are playing which one, which one. You just remember that. And they were studying it at the same time. And the scientists were surprised to see the brain activity was similar in both the cases. In the first case, where the pianist group was really playing a real piano, the same music, and in the second case, the pianists were playing it in their mind, just remembering which keys first, which keys second, how long, which one. And the brain showed the exact effect. And this gives us an idea that the mood that we are in, because they're not playing it actually. You see, they are in the mood. They're creating a thought that they were playing it like that earlier. They are bringing back a memory. They are bringing back a particular skill in their mind. They were not doing it in real. Everything was happening intangibly. But that intangible left an imprint on the tangible, which is the brain. Whereas the first group was doing it tangibly on a tangible thing. So the music they were playing was real, the piano was real, the sound was coming, and the test was happening on them, and everything was just real. However, for the second group, everything was just happening here in their atmosphere. The sphere created by the Atman, atom, and that sphere was bringing all that experience, and it was triggering the right signals to the brain, and the brain was catching the same signals. This is a nice example. It came in the year 2007, this study came out, and it made quite a big difference in the field of healing, because they started understanding the process of healing starts with your mind, because the brain starts functioning, it starts taking in the right kind of signals to produce the right kind of hormones and chemicals that really promotes healing. And so what happens is that this shows us a very nice example where the mind is actually able to manage the matter without actually coming in direct contact. It is leaving an impact. So when I see this example, I have to step back and understand that, is this example only working when there are people sitting under a coil or a machine? Or is there an intention of research? Or is it happening all the time? And I'm sure you would agree that it is happening all the time. Research was just an idea, but this must be happening throughout. We just don't recognize how silently this process is happening every time. For example, you are sitting with your friend and you are speaking to that person something very nice. And you start liking this atmosphere, this company. And the next time when you think about this friend or this stranger that you have met and started a nice conversation, you would be feeling the same quality of thoughts, the same quality of feelings and emotions that you experienced in the first meeting. The second time, you would like to go and meet this person again because of that experience in the past. Now, the second time when you go and you didn't have a nice conversation with this person, or you had a bad experience, what will happen is you'll be first surprised that, why did this happen? This shouldn't have happened. I had a picture which was like this, which means the The mind has already created a box. It has already created a mood, a setting, an atmosphere that each time that I meet this person, it should be like this. But because of some reason, suppose say it didn't happen, so the box, because it was made of glass, it just shattered. But this gives us an example to look into, that if I am accustomed or addicted to creating boxes very soon, very fast, or am I able to really be with the feeling, experience it, and then let go of it and prepare myself to be in the next phase, the next feeling that could come my way? Because if I am not able to switch my feelings when they are necessary, how they are necessary, what I am actually getting trapped into a trap of my own created feelings. Sometimes I may enjoy them because I like them, but what if it is not the same situation? The person might have a different day, a different tough day, or something, and this little beautiful box that I created just doesn't fits anymore for my mood. So when I am saying that I am trapped in that mood, it means I am attached to my experiences and I don't want to have new ones. I do not give more margin to my surprises. But if I am going with this mindset in the second meeting, okay, the first meeting was very nice. Let's go for the second one and see what it has for me. I leave an open end. I do not create any expectation. I do not carry any wishes, and I have left an open end. This gives me the freedom to experience something new, and it also gives the freedom to the person to be the way they were or they are on that particular day. This freedom is experienced through vibrations. So when I say vibration, it necessarily means the energy that I'm carrying with me. Again, the soul is carrying an atmosphere. So the energy that I'm carrying with me is that field of energy, the field of feeling, the field of vibration. And maybe that day when I'm meeting this person on the second day, because I have no expectation from our meeting, I am pretty much open, just present. And with this vibration of being present there for you, this person who didn't have a very good time that day just managed to come and keep the promise to meet. Might not have a very good day, but at the end, he'll feel like, at least this is fine, at least this is better. Because he didn't have to carry himself back again the way he was last time. He could put himself the way they are. So I have to check again and again, what is that I carry with me? What is that I am carrying with me? Is it a safety cell, or is it a cell of expectations, or is it a cell of virtues or vibrations that are benefiting just me, or is it benefiting others also? So what is that I'm carrying within me for myself and for others? That is something for me to check. And when I am checking these feelings in me, these thoughts and emotions in me, I have to be very honest with myself, because when I sit and start checking, they would emerge. The problems would emerge. The good things would emerge. The bad would also emerge. But am I ready to accept the bad as well as the good? So it's easy for us to accept the good, but sometimes when it is to accept the bad, we take a step back. And that's the problem area again, because I am not taking my responsibility of accepting the bad feelings, because probably there's lack of capacity in me to deal with it. So if I increase my capacity to deal with any situation, inner situations, what will happen is I will have more courage to face my inner atmosphere and check what it is like. What are the thoughts that I live most of the times in? What are the feelings that I live most of the times in? What are the emotions that I experience quite often? Emotions are momentary, whereas mood is like a period of time. It can last longer than a week sometimes, but emotions don't last longer than few minutes or say part of an hour. But if I am coming again and again to that emotion, maybe because I'm liking that emotion, or maybe because I am feeling some kind of recognition with that emotion, what I'm doing is I'm now associating my mood into that emotion, and then I'm creating a mood around that emotion. So if I have the eye to understand difference between this is an emotion and this is healthy for me, okay, this is not healthy for me, let me just step back and see the reasons for this emotion, the triggers that have brought this emotion. Working on the inner atmosphere helps me to carry a clean atmosphere with myself, which is not polluted. And a clean atmosphere is a healthy one for not just me, but for anybody else who steps into this atmosphere or who has this interaction with this atmosphere. So, suppose if two souls are meeting and one has a very clean atmosphere, the another one is not having that clean atmosphere, at least the pollution level is 50% down. But if I am also carrying a polluted atmosphere, the another person is also carrying a polluted atmosphere, the amount of pollution is 100%. So I have to step back every time I'm stepping into an action or a conversation or a relation, and step back first to check what is that I'm carrying here before I go into this action. After checking, if I find this is something valuable I must carry, you can carry it. But after checking, if you find you can elevate the value of your atmosphere, then to do what? To create elevated thoughts, to generate positive feelings is a way to nourish the capacity of the soul. It is a way to increase the opportunities around the soul to look for the best, bring them into the living room, the mood room, and set up an ambience, set up an atmosphere which is very positive. So it again comes back to the personal responsibility. What is that I want? What is that I really, really want? If I want something very pure and positive, let me check, do I have the capacity here to accomplish this? If I am not having it, how do I get it? I get it with a lot of determination. I get it with the right kind of thought. Thoughts are very interesting tools. Thoughts are not just the tools for the soul to work with, but they're also kind of nourishment for the soul. Thoughts are food, not just for the mind, but it's also, we always say thought, food for thought. So thoughts are the way we act, they are tools. With thoughts we act, but thoughts also are our nourishment. What kind of thoughts am I creating that gives me the right exercise for the mind, that makes me more healthy? I'll share another incident which is very interesting. There's a very nice documentary available on YouTube. You can watch it anytime. It's called Touching the Void. It's the story of two mountaineers who were trying to climb one of the untouched mountain peaks of in Peru. And Joe Simpson, the story is basically of Joe Simpson, how he saved himself from the deadly and deadly mountaineering task that he picked up. So these two friends were climbing the mountain, which has never been climbed by any human being. And so it was ice cold, and it is some temperature that me and you cannot even imagine sitting here in this nice room. Very, very powerfully challenging climate. Ice, snow, everything is white. You are in a freezing cold atmosphere, and all of a sudden you are very vulnerable because you are also afraid whether you'll be able to make it back or not. But you also have this feeling inside, that if I can make it, imagine what would happen. So you are creating an atmosphere of will, intent, and also determination. And so these two friends, they had climbed a certain height, and then they thought it's too much. We should now make a move. So when they were coming down, what happened? All of a sudden, because they tie each other with one rope, and one person is climbing down and another person is left down, and so they climb gradually, and because the friend was on the top, he couldn't see where Joe Simpson is, and he marks an ice with his hammer, and he tries to hook in there, but somehow uh, Joe Simpson hurts his leg, and he falls down. And because he has fell down into a crevice, there is this pull in the thread, which is also pulling the first person who was the hook. And now it becomes a question for this person to take a very strong decision. Should I cut the rope and save myself? Because I don't think he's alive anymore. Because that sounded like a deep fall, and nobody can live when they fell for that kind of depth. After spending a lot of time calling out a lot, because he became unconscious, so he couldn't reply back, he felt like, okay, this person is not there anymore. So what should I do? He simply cuts the rope and starts making a move with a very heavy heart that he couldn't save because he couldn't do anything. He tries a lot for this person, but there's no reply. In the meanwhile, Joe Simpson gets into the crevice. He's lying there and he realizes his leg is broken. There's pain. There is no food, no water. Only thing that surrounds him is just desperation to live. Only thing surrounds him is cold, ice cold. And there is pain. There is this feeling that I'm lost. Did I lose everything? There are questions. There's self doubt. And this time, during this period of time when he's having these feelings, he's not able to move at all. He simply lies there and feels, okay, this is my end. Let me just stay here for some time and see if I die. And then comes a thought that did you come here to die? What is that you want? And the question starts triggering the box. The question starts to trigger the box, and the answer starts coming out of it. I want to live. I want to live. No matter how bad is the situation, I would love to live. But how? Again, the question came, but how? So there is a challenging question coming every time, and every time this person is creating a thought that is rational, but is also very powerful. To live is a thought which is very powerful. And when I am challenged by a question, but how? You see, everything here is so massive, such massive. And the thought he creates is, I didn't come here to fail. I didn't do all this to fail. I can do this. And so he started crawling little by little, because he was very cold. He started connecting his mind to the sun. He said, there must be a sun outside which I can't see. Oh, the sun must be so warm. It must be so amazing to feel the sun. I would like to feel the sun. So the more amount of thoughts and uh, creation of the feelings he was bringing of warmth of sun, how it does feel when you are in the sun. How would it feel when I am in the sun? What would nice would it would be if there is a sun? So the more he was thinking of that, he could feel there is a warmth in his body that is keeping him alive, and the energy is coming back. And after 4 or 5 days of trying to figure out how to navigate, he finally comes out the crevasse. It's a nice one. I don't want to spoil it for you. You should watch it. But finally he makes to the base camp, and his friend and others have already burned all his clothes because they think he is dead. and this is a way to say him goodbye. So then he reaches them. They are surprised, they are shocked, but they are surprised. And they say, if somebody could live that kind of challenge, that must not be human. Because what we associate with human is a lot of limitations and boxes. But if I can break my own box, I am not anymore human. I am actually understanding and using my real potential. And that real potential is beyond this physical appearance. The real potential is beyond every limiting factor that the physical world has to provide in front of me. And to understand that, I have to understand who I am. If I understand that I am this, how I look here in the Zoom screen, then I am limiting my aura, I am limiting my identity. But if I go in depth and try to understand and feel, am I just this, the way I look, or the way I look after 10 years? Because this is changing. However, it is a truth, but it is changing, it is temporary. Am I a temporary identity, or am I an identity which is stronger, more powerful, more stable, and more reliable? Can I rely on temporary identities? Can I rely on posts and positions? Can I rely on my skills? Can I rely on my talents? I can be a very good painter and I paint with my right hand. Suppose tomorrow I don't have a right hand. What happens to my skill? So, what am I associating my identity with? It has to be a very strong one. If it is not strong enough, it will temporarily change, and that change would not be a very favorable one. So, let me check what is my identity that I associate myself with. And if I understand that, oh, deep down in my mind, I have this feeling that I am not this temporary thing, I am more powerful than this, then who I am. I am this being of positivity, the being of power, the being of all possibilities. I animate this body. I radiate my feelings, thoughts into my actions, into my choices and decisions. So definitely I have an upper hand. I am the master of what I create here, what kind of atmosphere I live in here. And when I start creating positive, powerful atmosphere here, I start to use it in my life, in my actions. You must have come across places of worship. It could be a mosque, a church, a nice place of worship. When you go there, you feel very different all of a sudden. You just stepped into it and you start feeling different. What is that is making me feel differently? What happens when you're sitting in a car in a traffic jam and you're waiting to reach your home? And the moment you reach your home and you sit in your personal couch, your favorite one, what is that feeling? This is a feeling where we could see the example of matter having an impact on me. Matter having an impact on me, matter trying to influence an experience onto me. But if I am more powerful, if I take the charge that my feelings, my experiences are only and only my responsibility, that even sitting inside the car amongst the entire honking cars, I would still feel like a king. The same king that goes back at home and feels like a king when you sit in your easy chair. So I cannot stop feeling like a king just because I don't have a wooden easy chair. I could still feel like a king if I want to. So this want is something, is like the key. What is that I want? Do I want the matter to overpower me, or I would like to be on top of the matter? Actually, they are two equal. They both have the equal capacity. You know this Red Indian story, which is a very famous one, where a child is being narrated by his grandfather, the Indian Cheriko, that there are these two wolves in each one of us. One is a positive one and one is the negative one. The positive wolf is all about happiness, strength, empowerment, kindness, compassion, peace, love, generosity, courage, bravery, determination. And then there's this another wolf inside us, which is about weakness, sorrow, depression, stress, hatred, anxiety, fed up, upset, so many things. And the grandfather says there is constantly a fight between these two wolves. And so the grandchild asks, Grandpa, which one wins at the end? So the grandfather says, the one that you feed. The one that you feed becomes stronger and wins. So if I am giving this thought more power every day, that I am a being of all possibilities, I am the energy, I am eternal. These thoughts are truth, and truth carries energy. Truth has power. This helps me to experience a state of mind, a mood that gives me the support to move ahead every day. But if I am feeding this thought, that what can I do? Everything around me is this, it has to depend on that, that has to depend on that. So if I am giving my energy into this kind of thinking, to this wolf, what I'm doing is I'm giving the remote of my life to everywhere else around. And they will just keep on switching, and I'll be just like a puppet. So here is an opportunity. So mood over matter is an opportunity for me to go in my depths and see who I am, how I am, what exactly I am. So I am this being of powerful, positive energy that has the capacity and understanding to use that energy in a way that helps facilitate beautiful incidents around me, that helps facilitate a lot of support to people around me, that is creating a lot of magic around me. If I have this strong feeling and belief in me, I would be creating those magics. And if you have any questions, it would be nice to have some questions. Maybe in the chat box, you can write them, or you can, I don't know if you can unmute, or maybe Paramjit Bhai can facilitate.
Thank you, Shantanu Bhai. That was a very informative talk, and there's a lot of good examples that you gave. So as Shantanu Bhai has requested, if you have any questions, please post them on chat. But I have a question for you just to get things started. Now, you gave the example about the wolf. The one that you feed is the one that wins. But what if you're in a place where the wolf of hate, depression, low self-esteem is so powerful? How does the weak one, that's, you know, the one that needs to get strong, I am love, I am, you know, peaceful, how do you change that? How do you start feeding the other one and stop feeding the one that's already powerful?
It's a very nice question, because this question is in itself has the answer. It's in the answer is in the how. The answer is in the how, because answer is not should I, because we know if I don't feed the positive wolf, I would lose. So there's no question whether should I feed it or not. That is one confirmation that yes, I need to feed it. If I have this understanding and this realization that my positive wolf is growing weaker and weaker day by day, if I have this understanding and I have this acceptance that it is weak and it needs work, I would say half of the battle is won. Because most of the times we really don't understand what percentage of hunger is there in that wolf. We really don't see the real situation most of the times. We're not able to clearly see which wolf is stronger, because we are all the time in the dilemma. But if I clearly know that this is something that needs to be done, how would be the next step? So when I know that this is the wolf that needs nourishment, let me check what are the things that are giving nourishment to the other wolf. Is there a way for me to stop them? For example, if there is a certain information that I am taking through my eyes or through my ears, or I'm reading certain things which is feeding that other wolf, can I stop it and see what happens? For example, I am living in some kind of anxiety, and then I start reading newspapers and blogs and posts, which are again about different anxieties. So I am here dealing with my anxiety, then I start reading about others' anxiety. So it's like what information I'm feeding to that wolf is making it grow bigger and bigger. So the first thing is to check what is making the other wolf strong. I don't know what will help this wolf become powerful, let's say. But if I know what is making this wolf strong, can I first stop that? Second step would be, if I can stop that, for how long can I do it? And you see, the moment when this one is not getting the nourishment, what is actually happening is this has started growing up because the negative information is not there anymore and it's not corrupting it. So, whatever little light is left in this wolf would help it to start focusing on other positive things. And because mind has an eternal tendency to get engaged, because it is not anymore engaged in the negatives, it will start looking for the positive things around. And engaging the mind into positive information, whether it's through words, whether it's through visuals, whether it's through sounds. If I am engaging the mind into positive things, the wolf is taking its nourishment slowly and slowly. And the most powerful positive means of resources connecting to the force, to the source. It's like the wolf is so weak that it needs a shoot up of saline. No food could be chewed, no food could be put in the mouth somehow, because anything you put will take time. But with saline, it directly goes into your veins and the energy shoots up like that. And so when I go and talk to a person who's like a mentor or a guide or a person or a friend, I can come to you and talk. So your food would be like you are feeding me through mouth. So it will take time to digest and bring energy to the body of the wolf, the positive wolf. But if I can connect to the source, the saline, it will directly go into the veins of the wolf and it will start feeling refresh again. So the fastest way to feed the wolf is to connect to the force. But then again, do I know the source? Do I have a friendship with the force? Is there a waiting list in the hospital or is there availability for me? So that also is a question. And that could be figured out if I have a very beautiful, powerful, and friendly relationship with the force.
Now, a lot of people are in a very difficult situation, especially under the present pandemic situation. And they're often surrounded by people who are very negative. I know you said we create boxes with certain people, and so we have that feeling every time we think about them. A lot of people are trapped with family; they can't just escape, and the family are very dominating. Maybe it could be at work. What are the simple steps they can just initiate where they can break that glass box?
I think in that case, there are two boxes. One is the glass box that I am inside, and one is the glass box that I have created for them and put them into that box. So I am creating this box in which I am there, and my box says, I am helpless, I cannot do anything because this is what it is. And there is another bigger box that I have created, and I have put everybody into in that box and labeled it, they are the reasons for my little box. So when I am labeling them as you are the reason, what I'm actually doing is I'm waiting that when they change, my situation changes. So I'm actually waiting for something happy to happen through them. And they don't know that they have been put into a box. I know I have put them into a box. They don't know. They are just being them. They are just doing what they were supposed to be doing. If your boss in the office is an angry person, he would be playing the role of an angry person the best he can play. Why would he not play an angry person's role if that is in his script? But what script I choose to enact is totally in me. So, how do I break these two boxes? First of all, I have to understand my box and why did I create it? Did I create it so that I don't have to work enough? I can leave it on them and say because it is them? Or did I create it because that was the easy thing to do? So I have to ask myself question. And if the answers are telling me that, okay, this is my creation, let me try to break this box. And to break it, I have to be unconventional. The conventional way of thinking would be, what can I do? This is the situation. I seriously cannot do this. I am not able to think. I am so much under the pressure. These are the conventional thoughts. And so to break the box, there has to be an unconventional thought. And here the un to the convention means unlimitedly conventional thought. So the unlimited thought would be, I am a precious soul and I am someone with a lot of power which is hidden inside me. I don't know them, but these are the souls or these are the situations that will help me to recognize myself better. Am I ready to face them and recognize my own merits? Am I ready to really be bold enough to go and face them and face failures? Because if I'm ready for doing that, what others would see is a new me, a new virtue of me. They'll see a new face of me, which is the power to face. And I would not say power to face means to go and start fighting. The power to face sometimes could be just to stand in the face of the storm, strong. Just by standing there, you're facing it. You don't have to, run your hands or try to let go of the storm in some physical way. You don't have to fight. Sometimes just standing by the truth, sometimes standing by the right in itself is a fight, is in itself is very powerful. So if I again and again revisit this thought that I am a powerful being, I am being challenged by a situation, but I am a powerful being and I have an upper hand on this situation because this situation is temporary, whereas I, the eternal being, I'm eternal. I am there, I was there, I'll be there. There is nothing that can put me down. These situations would come and go. I am always there. I will always be there. So this thought of self-understanding will help me to understand my real potential. And within a very short span of time, I would start feeling pumped up. You'll feel, yes, I can do it. So it might sound easier than to do it, but unless and until you do it, it will only sound easy. But when you do it, you'll feel it's really easy.
So this, sometimes when you're surrounded by people and they're very negative or they just want to bring the whole atmosphere down, it may be very difficult to sort of create those thoughts that you're saying. But is there a time and place when we can do that so that we can sort of build up our immune system?
I can relate this question to my recent COP experience. So when I was in the COP26, there would be media that would come and ask you questions. And youth are right now in the limelight, so they will generally come to us and ask questions. And they will start asking you questions again and again in this way or that way that gives them some spicy news material. They would again and again tell you, but isn't this very pessimistic attitude? But isn't this is very slow process? But isn't this any yielding to any goodness? Why this is happening? So you are surrounded in an atmosphere where everybody is having the same voice of injustice, the voice of no hope anymore, the voice of these leaders have failed us, the voice of all these negative things. And the media would again and again come to you and ask you that, isn't this right? This is wrong. You should protest and something like that. And because of my spiritual practice, they would come to me and they would again and again try to frame a question that would make me say, yes, that is a very depressing situation. What can we do? But because of my spiritual practice, I would always say, you might see these things, but what I can see is a lot of opportunities here. I see, at least for some reason, people are aligning their thoughts. They're coming into a unity of thoughts. Earlier, this was not there. I could see the positive of people coming on the floor, not just governments, common people coming on floor, common people joining the mission, common people coming out of their home and taking the power to change in their own hands and not waiting for the government. So after the interview will finish, they'll say, "Oh, we tried so much to bring you down with our question." These were never their words, but the sentiment. But it seems you are very different. And so these media people, they're still now very good friends of me. They send me good morning message and sometimes something. And they said, "We feel very nice when we talk to you." So sometimes it is very difficult to understand whether I am the one who is creating this mood or I am the one who needs to break this mood. Sometimes these media people, they didn't know that they were actually part of the mood now, whereas their role was to create a mood which is uplifting. But because of the situations that they let become powerful than themselves, they let the call or the need of the marketing became so higher and powerful than them that they just gave into it. So it is the wolf they fed was the wolf of negative news. But when they got a chance to meet few people like us who were not buying the negative news, but were projecting more and more positive information from the COP zone, telling what changes are happening and why is not your focus in those changes. And when we were questioning them, they were changing. So sometimes when I'm surrounded within a mood which is very depressive, very negative, I have to ask the first question, what is my role here? Am I adding to the negative mood or am I the one who is subtracting the negative mood? Even if it is by small percentage. Say there are 100 people in the room with one minus. And if I am a single plus there, now it is not 100% negative, it is 99% negative. So with my 1%, maybe not a big change would come in the room, but at least a change has been established. And I am the reason for that change. And that 1% of my effort will bring back to me a lot of blessings. And those blessings are the nourishment for the positive wolf. And then this 1% of positivity that I added to that 100% of negativity would actually become my protection. So the next time a situation comes where there is 100% negativity, because I am protected, I have my vaccine of positivity, I can straight away go into the infection center and stand there and say, I have got antibodies, I have got a lot of interferons, and I can really face this challenge because I have practiced it. So practice, practice, practice. Practice will bring us closer to perfection.
You mentioned earlier on that sometimes when you can't digest your own food, you have to take saline directly. Yeah. And you mentioned force. Could you expand on that, please?
Yeah. So here I would say the force is not a limited force from a good novel or a nice literature or a nice spiritual book that I'm reading. Neither it is a person that I'm talking to. Basically, what I'm saying here, the force means the unlimited, the energy house, the supreme being, the source that we all have in some way or the other way always looked up to. I don't know whether this is known to us, to many of us or not. Before the COVID happened, the most Googled word was God. Can you imagine? With people with so many variety of thoughts, the most Googled word was God. And after COVID, it became, what is COVID-19? So that was one of the most Googled and searched words. But that in itself tells that there is this understanding that there is a higher energy. I don't have to know it right now. But if I just have this understanding that there is a higher energy, can I allow myself to welcome the energy to come and start creating and building a relationship with me? I don't have to do a lot of work. I just have to open one door And that one door is the door of possibility. Is there a possibility that I can experience something magical? So when I say the force, it means the supreme being, the source of all positivity. We can call him the ocean of knowledge, the ocean of purity, the ocean of peace, the ocean of power, ocean of all possibilities. You can call it as a him or her or they or it. You can call it with any name. You can call it Mr. Possibility also. But the idea is to understand that there is this possibility, the source of all possibility, and let me just allow myself to experience him a bit. If it gives me some kind of nice experience, I will work on it more. But let me just allow. So that saline is meditation. The saline, the injection is of meditation. When I meditate, I connect with myself, who I am, and I connect with the source, the force, the supreme. And the moment I connect, the saline starts functioning. The inflow of the power starts coming into me. It's like I'm sitting in a room which is dense and dark. There's just one window which is closed. The moment I open that window, sunlight enters. I don't have to open the window and wait for 5 minutes for the sunlight to enter. The moment the window is open, sunlight enters. The moment the window is open, I don't even have to go and chant a mantra saying, "Oh, the sun, Lord, please send some sunlight." I don't have to do that also. Opening the window, light enters, I can feel the warmth. So, opening the window here is the first step that I have to do. The sun is already there. So, when I open the window here, the light enters and I start feeling the warmth of goodness that that sun is sending to me. And that starts recharging me, nourishing me, empowering me, helps me to facilitate bringing changes around me.
Okay, that was a good answer, because I was just thinking, you talked about emotions and then moods. Emotions are very sort of momentary things. Moods are created when you have a lot of emotions and it becomes a pattern. So you've created a positive mood. How do you then sustain it so you don't go back into that other mood?
First of all, to sustain it, I have to be ready to understand that sometimes I may not sustain it. It's okay. Because if I again create a box that I have created this mood and it should never go down, then I'm actually creating an anxiety circle around me that what if it goes down? What if I fail? What if, what if? So first of all, I have to not create any more boxes around me and say, okay, I am having this experience of stillness and stability. Let me experience it the way it is, however long it is. If I just create a thought, what if it is not permanent? It just went right there. So first of all, to start thinking, right now, whatever I am feeling, this is my creation. Let me just enjoy it. If there is a situation where I couldn't really keep holding my positivity, it's okay. It will not go to and touch zero. It won't go to minus. It would just go little down because my long time practice have helped me to sustain it. It might go this little down. But because I have practiced, my practice would encourage me naturally to create another thought, which will again help me shift. So even if it's never a straight graph like that, from bottom down to top right. It's never a straight graph like that. It's a graph with a wave pattern, but the overall momentum is on the top, on the growth side. If the graph is of a wave pattern, but it is horizontal, it's dangerous because you're not growing. You have ups and downs in your life, but you're not growing. But if you have ups and downs, but you are growing, that's good. So never be afraid of failures. Never be afraid of what if it doesn't happen the way I can do every time. It's okay. You'll do it another time. This is maybe the pitch time. It's okay. There would come a mountain, a peak also. So it's always important to remind ourselves the overall graph should be this and not this or this. It should be this. It's okay to go down. Accepting is very important. Moment I accept, I have actually become very humble, and humility is the antidote to vulnerability. If I am humble, I let the vulnerability come and see me and pass by. So acceptance bring a lot of humility, and it's good if I'm learning with my lessons.
Okay, now I'm going to request Shantanu, if you can take us to that peak of very positive experience. So would you guide us in a meditation commentary, please?
Sure. So if you are sitting with something in your hands like a pen, paper, just leave everything. Just be very relaxed. Everything that you have is right there. Take a deep breath and try to sit very relaxed, calm, composed. Try to focus all the attention in this present moment. I might have few things to do after this meeting. I might have certain agendas in mind. They are all going to be done on the right time. I'll get back to them. But now is the time for me to experience power, experience my truth, experience my true nature. My true identity is that of peace. I am a being of light, energy, a tiny point from where everything begins. I am peace. I am light. With this inward journey, I have experienced myself. I experienced my true potential. And now I take an upward journey. My attention goes to the light above me, the being, the source, the point that looks just like me, but is the ocean of all positivity, ocean of peace. The moment my focus is on Him, naturally I receive light, light of love, light of peace. This pure love is nourishing me. His light of peace is creating a powerful canopy over me, protecting me. With this inward, upward journey, the last step for me is to have an outward journey. Let me share this powerful vibration of peace and love to everyone that I meet, everyone in my family, everyone, each living being on this planet Earth. I share this beautiful energy with each and everyone. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. On behalf of everyone, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your wonderful sharing and
Thank
some
you.
brilliant examples that you've given. You're obviously a very enlightened soul for a person who's crammed so much in your life, and you have so much more to offer. So we thank you for that. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank all the people who've joined through Zoom and the webcast. And a reminder, next week's talk, we have a very special talk from Brother Charlie Hogg. Charlie Hogg is the Australian director of the Brahma Kumaris, and the talk will be Brahma Baba, a man with a vision and mission. And just for your reference, Brahma Baba is the founding father of the Brahma Kumaris. So we do hope you can join us next week for that. And in the meantime, create this wonderful mood that you have. Om Shanti. Thank you.